Tourism generates about $979 million for the East African region every year and accounted for 12% of the region's GDP in 2014. CNBC Africa's Boni Tunya spoke to Fred Kaigua, CEO of Kenya Association of Tour Operators, on how better the region can position itself as a tourism hub.
Fred, 2015, like I said, was not very easy, not just for Kenya, across the board. We saw dwindling numbers from our traditional source markets. There was obviously the terror threats that were with us, and obviously in different countries like Kenya, for example, there was a challenge of inadequate resources for marketing. Let's start from the alternative suggestion that has been said that maybe we need to start looking at alternative sources, and people have talked about intra-regional tourism. Does the East African community have a tourism strategy, and what would this be?
Thank you for that. I think we'll start maybe one step backwards with the looking for new sources.
Right.
The argument is not new. I think it has been around for quite a bit of time, where people realize that our strategy for tourism is too focused on the West. Some few source markets, and as you rightly point out, when something goes wrong that causes those markets to dry up, then you realize you didn't have a good alternative.
Right.
Now, the first attempt to expand, I think, went east. But I think the dividends were not as high as expected. Right. So the last couple of years have shown that you really need to have a vibrant regional and domestic market. One of the areas that may have been not very well catered for in the couple of the last years was even the domestic market, the middle class, upper class Kenyans themselves. But a lot of companies in the last 2 years have actually stayed afloat comfortably by having a strong regional and domestic following.
There seem to be quite a number of challenges, and one of the challenges is access. It's very costly to tour, not just for foreigners from Uganda or Tanzania, but also from locals. The taxes thereof, and Kenyans have considered tourism or touring their country as a luxury. When will we ever get to a point where we have a serious conversation about lowering some of these charges?
That is a conversation that is going on right now. We are discussing amongst ourselves that a statement repeated often enough becomes true. And we keep on hearing the industry is too expensive, industry is too expensive. But a lot of it also goes into lack of product knowledge. If I was to go to tour and I go and I'm looking at a 5-star, it's bound to be expensive. But there's probably another 2-star or a 3-star out there that would have suited my needs. So it comes about in the area of niche segmentation. What niche are you talking about? 5-star will always be expensive. But maybe there are bandas, there are homestays, there are all these areas that you could use that are not expensive. Right. Having said that, we are currently about to look at that whole scenario and look at it from a regional point of view. What is it costing in Kenya? And what is a similar product costing in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, in Burundi? Right. At that point in time, then you can come and say, yes, Kenya, you're expensive. Right. But as of now, partly you may be looking at segmentation and lack of proper product information as to where do I go.
Could the reason be that we've marketed tour offerings to a different sort of demographic, because the kind of marketing that goes on CNN or Brand Kenya is not targeting the $30 tourist from wherever. It's targeting someone who has a sizable chunk willing to spend. Could that be the reason why there's this perception that it's expensive to tour?
There are two issues that will need to be tackled. One is the culture of the tourists themselves, you and I. Studies have shown we start planning for Christmas in November or December 10, and by December 15 you're asking where you're going for Christmas. Yes. I mean, that will always get you into problems, because most of the tourists we deal with plan even a year in advance. So if we could first of all start with the culture of tourism, you start planning for your holiday now. Right. You start saving for it. So by the time you get to December, you've already saved for it. You're not trying to cut your budget and scrimp and save. You're ready for it. Secondly, we also don't even have the holiday culture itself. Right. I mean, we work 24/7. Yeah.
We even don't take leave.
We don't take leave.
Right.
So that holiday culture needs to start from within ourselves. How to save for it, and actually even how to go and live in the first place. Then comes in the product development. I've seen a few companies offering some very affordable safaris, not very good or not very high quality, but affordable. So when we do the product offering and the savings culture, then you're already addressing the first two problems. Then we move now into the pricing and the product structure itself. But I think it also starts on the supply side. The demand side also has some issues which need to be addressed.